Welcome to the CTB Zodiac channel. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the hottest news of the day. Our newsletter today includes the following. There is still hope regarding the future, in spite of the fact that there is still a considerable amount of time left. A Cancer condition will manifest itself within the next 2 weeks. A relationship that has reached the level of maturity represented by Cancer has become exceedingly serious. You will be able to foresee the other party's next action and predict the result of the scenario going ahead if you have a full comprehension of the other party's thinking or attitude. It is feasible to say that it is exceptionally simple for Cancer to end their participation in this collaboration, since it has been said that this is the case. Yet, after some Cancer have established a sense of security in the relationship, they will begin searching for justifications to lie to and deceive themselves. Going through with this operation was not an easy task at all. It's just that I have a fairly decent concept of how things will play out, and I also have a pretty good sense of what kind of state this relationship will develop into. Nevertheless, because I don't want to let go of anything, I just think soberly. The awareness that we are unable to complete the task is the most authentic manifestation of our Cancer, because it shows that we are honest with ourselves. People who are able to maintain the most composure under pressure are sometimes the ones who endure the greatest amount of anguish. Thus, in spite of the fact that certain Cancer exude an air of composure, yet, the reality is that his heart already included a great number of holes in it. Then I observe that certain Cancer are able to maintain their apparent composure and sense of decency in spite of the circumstances. It would appear that nothing will have any effect on the decisions I make. On the other hand, based on what I can gather, you are either looking forward to certain changes taking place in your heart or you are looking forward to a future that is lovely. Nonetheless, you must be well conscious of the fact that you are merely giving off the impression that you are relaxed. I am able to tell that this thing is a symbol of the need that you have and the obsession that you have on it. Despite the fact that you are well aware that you ought to start over and have a new life, you are attempting to fool yourself into believing that you do not care about anything in spite of the fact that you are conscious that you ought to have a new life. You might be able to distract yourself with certain activities, but if you stop doing those things, you will still lament the loss of the past in an uncontrollable manner. You had always been under the impression that you possessed the capacity to let go. Nevertheless, if you give it some serious thought, can you truthfully declare that you've let go of it? On the other hand, I get the sensation that Cancer is becoming increasingly involved in this collaboration. Hence, after we Cancer have established ourselves in the partnership, we have a reputation for being a group that is both faithful and stubborn. In the context of the relationship, this is the topic that is looked down upon the most. If you love each other more than you love yourself, you are setting yourselves up for disappointment and suffering in the long run. Nonetheless, there are still Cancer who are in committed relationships but have been repressing their feelings for their partners. These Cancer are a minority, but they do exist. Because I am scared that if I love and offer too much to other people, I will wind up hurting myself in the process. In every circumstance, if you pay 7 points, you will always be able to keep 3 points for yourself. A state that perfectly captures the spirit of our Cancer can be found farther down in this article. In point of fact, you cannot contain your excitement about starting a family of your very own. Despite the fact that you are staring directly at a distance or some other gaps and impediments in the path of your view, it is quite evident that you maintain a constructive and optimistic attitude on life and the years to come. In the meantime, we are currently up against a number of difficult hurdles and are working under an immense amount of pressure. Additionally, this pressure has reached a very high critical point. In addition, the pressure has reached a point where it has reached a very high critical point. It would appear that there are a number of decisions that need to be made. It is very evident from this that we Cancer are unable to offer any further assistance. It would appear that we have reached the point where we can no longer continue. Despite the fact that we want to put up a struggle against what we know is about to happen, we will continue. Despite this, I immediately have the feeling that the conflict that is taking place inside of me is of a very grave nature. If this is the state, as opposed to how Cancer feels, then the sign of Cancer needs to make some decisions that are less compassionate in my opinion. Despite the knowledge that many who disagree with us will likely have a difficult time accepting our verdict. In the here and now, I think it could be possible to make this problem a little bit more bearable. It's possible that you should each give the other some space and time. When I take into account the conditions under which the other person is living, I realize that I am unable to fully comprehend Cancer. Hence, it would be more correct to state that he is in the process of changing feeling into a sort of obsession, as this transformation is now taking place. His behavior will provide as a startling contrast to the temperament that most of us have, which is Cancerian. As Cancer, we place a great value on new relationships and exciting adventures. But the other person is more concerned with having a stable and safe environment in which to live. There is a possibility that there was a psychological component of wanting to know more right from the start. It would appear that getting along with you is made more difficult by an obstacle that is impossible to surmount. This challenge is currently being carried by the other party with all of its strength, which means that the pressure and pain on him are great. However, it is unknown to us Cancer. As I get the impression that he hides it very deeply and wants to bear it by himself. However, at this very moment, I was so overcome that I was unable to breathe. I had the distinct impression that I was going to pass out. It's possible that some Cancer are aware of it, but either they don't know how to help him or they don't want to get involved in the situation. Simply maintain your distance and keep an eye on what's going on around you. In this scenario, there may be signs that the connection between you and the other party is coming to an end when the level of intolerance displayed by the other party reaches an intolerable threshold. So, our Cancer consideration and participation in resolving these concerns is required. If you truly do not know how to do the assignment or if you have some information that cannot be shared, you can try reading it again to hunt for clues and directions supplied to you by the universe. You can try this if you hold some information that cannot be shared.